Welcome to English literature class, my dear students of class 9th. Now I am going to explain the chapter television, chapter number 5 by Roald Dahl. The poet's name is Roald Dahl. Here he says about the television. You know, television is often called the idiot box. It arouses intense feelings in people. Some feel that it is very useful in spreading information and education. Some feel it turns people into couch potatoes or lazy people who no longer want to exercise their body or mind. Yes, television is one invention that has really changed our lifestyles. Do you think it is good for children, or do you think it kills their imagination and makes them inactive? You will read in this poem, Television by Roald Dahl. Now, all of you, please open page number 21 and read. Put your fingers on the lines and try to understand. Here, the most important thing we have learned so far as children are concerned is never let them near your television set. Or better still, just don't install the idiotic thing at all. The poet says here, about the television, he appeals to the people, to the parents of Britain, or you can say to the British parents, as the poet belongs to Britain. So he says in this line, poet Roald Dahl is addressing all British parents and telling them that the most important thing one must learn while raising children is to keep them away from the television set. The poet says, the most important thing we have learned so far as children are concerned is never let them near your television set. Or better still, just don't install the idiotic thing at all. He says, Roald Dahl is addressing all British parents and telling them that the most important thing one must learn while raising children is to keep them away from the television set. He also said that it is possible to come to a better solution to the problem by not installing a television set at all in their homes. If there would be no television set, the children would not waste their precious time watching them. So he insists here, it is written here, never let. He emphasizes here, the poet emphasizes here, never let them near the television set. He emphasizes not to not to permit any child to go near television set. The repetition of the word never indicates the intensity of how the poet feels towards the television. The adjective he uses to describe the television set as idiotic is intended to create a negative view towards it. He says, we have watched them gaping at the screen. They loll and slop and lounge about and stare until their eyes to pop out. Last week in someone's place we saw a dozen eyeballs on the floor. He says, The poet presumes that he has undertaken some research. We have watched them. The poet assumes that he has undertaken some research on the bad effect of watching television by visiting many homes. By visiting many homes, he understood that what are the bad effects of watching television. In most homes, he has found children lazily wasting all day staring at the television screen without doing any useful work. They do not any useful work. They only just waste the time. The poet exaggerates the effect of watching television by saying that sometimes the children stare so hard the television set, the television screen. Children stare the television set so hard that their eyeballs fall off. Their eyeball fall off. And a week before, he saw in someone's house a dozen eyeballs rolling about on the floor. Though it is not possible, but the satires here, he saw in someone's house a dozen eyeballs rolling about on the floor. The poet here presents his findings as a result of survey conducted to make it appear more believable. The three words the poet uses, loll, slop, and lounge about, all meaningly nearly the same to show the bad effect of the watching television on children. He saw a week before a dozen eyeballs on the floor due to staring so hard. The poet mentions a time and a place where he saw the eyeballs rolling on the ground to make it appear realistic. The use of hyperbole, saying a dozen eyeballs on the floor, is to convince the reader that television is harmful. This exaggeration is used to create an effect and at the same time leave on an impact. The expression, the eyeballs had popped out and fallen on the ground, brings a smile to the child's lips as the reads this line. Here, where it says, they sit and stare and stare and sit until they are hypnotized by it, until they are absolutely drunk with all their shocking, ghastly junk. In these lines, poet says that in most houses, the children continuously watch television. It looks as if they are mesmerized by the scenes in the TV. Their entire attention is captured by the television screen and they cannot concentrate on anything other than what they are watching. It seems as if they are mesmerized by the horrifying screams in the television. They stare so continuously that if it looks that do not even blink their eyes once. It appears as if they have the hangover of watching the television, which is nothing other than a junk box, idiot box, which is nothing other than a junk box. In these lines, the poet says that the entire attention of the children is captured by the television screen and they cannot concentrate on anything other than what they are watching. The reception of sit, the word repeated, the word is repeated here many times. Repetition of sit and stare and stare and sit, changing the word order produces the effect of dullness in watching television. Use of word hypnotized, drunk, ghastly, junk, all suggest to addiction and bad effects of inaction. Thus, poet tries to create an aversion, hate to watching television. Oh yes, he says, oh yes, we know, it keeps them still. They don't climb out the window sill. They never fight or kick or punch. They leave you free to cook the lunch and wash the dishes in the sink. But did you ever stop to think, to wonder just exactly what this does to your beloved tot? Now, the poet asks a question here. The poet asks a question here to the reader. While watching television, children sit still. They don't climb on windows. While watching television, they don't climb on windows, never fight with each other or cause trouble or throw tantrums. Tantrums means childish display of bad manners. As a result, their parents can go about doing their household work like washing and cleaning without any disturbance. But it is important for parents to stop and reflect how badly television influences their children. In these lines, the poet admits that he knows that television can be a convenient way to keep children occupied. While watching television, children never cause trouble or throw tantrums. As a result, their parents can do their household chores, household work without any interruption. However, the poet hints that parents do not stop to consider what television might do to their children. The poet says here in capital letters, you can say here, it rots the sense in the head, it kills imagination dead. This is the main message of the poem. Main message. You can say this is the main lines, heart of the poem. Main message of the poem. They carry the main message to the poem. These lines. It rots the sense in the head, it kills imagination dead. It clogs and clutters up the mind, it makes a child so dull and blind, he can no longer understand a fantasy of fairyland. His brain becomes as soft as cheese, his powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. The poet says here, watching too much television affects their thinking ability. Affects their thinking ability, kills their imagination, blocks their mind, and makes them dull and blind. As their imagination is killed, they won't understand fantasy and fairyland stories. Their brain becomes weak, thinking becomes rusted, and thus ineffective. Their thinking ability is killed and they can only see. These lines here are written in capital letters to emphasize that they carry the main message of the poem. That's why these lines are written in capital letter, because letters to emphasize. It is written in capital letter to emphasize that they carry the main message of the poem. Here we see a shift into a more aggressive tone by using all capital letters to indicate shouting. The message is that watching too much television fills up the mind of children with useless facts, while at the same time destroying their ability to create or understand worlds of fantasy in their imagination. It takes away their ability to think, and they can only keep staring at the television screen. See the effect of the use of hyperbole when he presents exaggerated statement like brain becomes as soft as cheese, powers of thinking rust and freeze. All right. Now the poet says here in the next lines, all right you will cry, all right you will say, But if we take the set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? Please explain. We will answer this by asking you. What you, the darling, wants to do? How you they keep themselves contented before this monster was invented? Have you forgotten? Don't you know? We will say it very loud and slow. Alright, the parents' dilemma, the parents' confusion is taken up here. Of course, they realize that the television is harmful. Parents realize that the television is harmful for the development of their children. But then, what should they do to entertain them, to entertain their children, to entertain their beloved? The parents demand to know. The parents ask. In this line, the poet anticipates what the parents' next question would be. The poet imagines, anticipates what the parents' next question would be. They might agree to take away the television set from their children, but will ask how they are now supposed to keep their children entertained and occupied, entertained and busy. We will answer this question we will answer this by asking you. He asked, what you, the darling, wants to do? How you they keep themselves contented before the monster was invented? The poet answers the question by asking a counter question. Before the invention of the television, what the children did and how they spent their time. Before the invention of the television, what the children did and how they spent their time. These lines tell parents that they cannot have forgotten how children kept themselves entertained before the invention of the television. He reminds them of the activities the children or they themselves engaged in earlier times. It appears from the question that the context of the poem is written soon after television became popular. He says, have you forgotten? Don't you know? We will say it very loud and slow. They used to read. They would read and read and read and read and then proceed to read some more. Great Scott Ganzuk, one half their lives was reading books. The poet asked them formally whether they know or they have forgotten that they used to read more and more books. In earlier times, reading was a major activity in those days. In these lines, the poet says that before the coming of television set or coming of television, children would read, and it is a shame that now they don't. And it is a shameful matter that now they don't. The poet asks two questions and then answers loudly and slowly for effect. The use of capital letters and the repetition of read 6 times and the use of 3 exclamations thus forcefully makes the point that reading is the best alternative. And what the poet says, you will study in my next video. Thank you so much, students.